Hi, my name's Finneas. I'm here at BuzzFeed, and today we're going to talk about my first times. First song you wrote on When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Listen. Listen was written on Cinco de Mayo of 2016. We wrote it in a studio that had so much air conditioning that we couldn't record it because the air conditioning was so loud. The air conditioning was like the entire time. You couldn't hear voice over it, so we had to go home and record it, which is the truth of every studio. First lyric you wrote in your new single, Angel, and the inspiration behind it. A lot of the time when I write songs, I just kind of improvise until there's something that I don't think is stupid, and in this case, play. And Congratulations, You've Been Pretending to Be Human sort of came out all at once. I remember thinking that that was the beginning of being romantic because I knew that it was leading to like thinking that they're not human because they're an angel. And I remember singing the song to my mom, who knows my girlfriend, obviously. It got to the first line and she was like holding my phone up to her ear listening to it. And she was like, what did she do? And I was like, no, I'm not saying she's not a human being. I'm saying she's like a deity. First kiss. My first kiss was on the 4th of July in 2011 on a balcony in DC, and there were fireworks going off. And that sounds like the kind of story that I'd be like, just kidding, it was in a back alley by my high school. But it really was on the 4th of July in 2011 on a balcony in DC while fireworks all went off. And then I was dumped the next day on a flight, sitting next to her. I was dumped in the middle of the flight, in the middle seat. And then there was 4 more hours on the flight. First childhood memory with Billy you can remember. We always fight, and she's always been, when she was very little, she no longer is violent, but she, as a young child, was violent. But my first memory of her was her teetering into my bedroom in a diaper and putting a marble that I had on my floor in her mouth, and me reaching my hand down her throat and pulling the marble out. First audition you ever went on? The first audition I ever went on, I was playing the son of a mom talking about her severe plaque psoriasis, and she was miming cutting my hair in the audition, and they wet my hair so that it looked more like I was in a salon, and I had to look unhappy with my haircut, and I had no lines in the audition, and I didn't get the part. But if you have severe plaque psoriasis, you can ask your doctor if whatever the medication I was advertising is right for you. First moment you realized Billy was going to be a musician. I've never doubted that she was supremely talented. I think, you just have to hope that luck also comes into play, because there are so many talented people that aren't as successful as Billy has gotten. I think that's a shame. I always knew that she was incredibly talented, and I was always just hopeful that other people would see that too. First AIM AOL screen name. How old do you think I am? I don't know what either of those things are. First memory from being in Glee. I've never talked about this, but I auditioned for Glee 5 times over the course of 3 years. And each audition, by the way, was for different characters over the course of the show. And so the audition I did that was the role that I landed. The day of the audition, I think my band had a gig in high school, or I had a date or something. And I was like, oh, can I not go on this audition? And my agent was like, no, this is the only time they can see you. And I was like, whatever. I think I sang You Always Hurt the Ones You Love, and I read the scene, which was really short. But I didn't even clock that it was for Glee. I just was like, here's an audition, and I went and did it. And then my agents called the next day and said, they want you to do that role. And I said, what role? And she said, the one you auditioned for yesterday. And I said, yeah, what was it for again? And she said, Glee. And I was like, is this a spin-off? And she's like, no, Glee is still on. And then I met with the director of the episode, and he was like, so basically in this scene, and you've seen Glee, of course, right? And I was like, yes, and I've never seen Glee. And then when I was on it, I only did 4 episodes, and everyone was like, you didn't watch your 4 episodes? And I was like, I didn't have any idea what was going on during my 4 episodes. I hadn't seen any of the episodes before that. First CD you bought with your own money. I've never bought a CD. I rented Kesha's Animal on CD from the library, and I burned it onto my iTunes, and then I took it back to the library, and then was the wiser. First song you wrote about Claudia, first time she heard a song you wrote about her. I wrote the song Claudia about Claudia the day that I met Claudia, and I sent it to her the night that I met Claudia. I sent her the first part, and she texted me back, "You're trouble," and then the chorus, which is the "I'm in trouble now" part. I was like, oh, that's cheers. First concert you ever went to. I went and I saw Green Day play the Forum in Los Angeles when I was 11, I think. It profoundly changed my life, and Billy Joe Armstrong mooned the audience at one point, and that also blew my mind. Someday I'll be brave enough to also do that on stage. First thing you do when you sit down to write a new song, play something that I don't like usually. I usually sit down and I'm like, this is bad. And then sometimes I play a different thing and I like that, but usually I just start liking the thing that I thought was bad. It's a little bit like when you have a dessert and you have one bite and you're like, this is stupid, and then the whole bag is gone. First bad date you went on. I drove to and from Ojai in one day, one time, which is like a 3-hour drive. It's a lot of time in the car in one day. And with a yoga instructor. Last one, first song you ever wrote, Ocean Eyes. That's not true. I wrote like 200 or 300 songs that no one will ever get to hear before I wrote that song, and I thought they were all really good at the time, and then subsequently think they're all really bad. But that's kind of the deal, and I loved writing them, and I think if you like writing songs, that's the only important part.